Hi everyone, it's Shel from Scrap Secrets and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be using layering stencils to create this card. To start off, we're going to work on the front card panel, and it's a piece of Recollections cardstock that's cut down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, which is the same size as an A2 card. And I taped it to the base layer of the Layering Leopard stencils from A Colorful Life Designs. I'm using some Distress Oxide in Wilted Violet to cover the whole stencil. And these stencils are great. If you know me, you know that I love anything that is layering stamps, layering stencils, just absolutely love them. I think you can get so much out of them. And you can use this all on its own or use both pieces together, which is so great. It makes it for more versatility, and you can extend the life of your products. So I'm going to be using that Wilted Violet all over the back. I wanted it to be a light purple instead of a white, just because it felt like it was a little bit different. And I am actually entering this into the Colorful Life Design February challenge for their the theme is birthday. I've actually already entered it. I've already submitted my pictures. So I wanted to make the process video so you guys could see how I made it if you were interested. If you saw the card over there and you're interested in how I made it and how you can use layering stencils, because sometimes they can look very intimidating. Like here, I wasn't really sure how it works. So what I did was I actually layered them on top of each other, and I picked one shape that was very unique that I could easily find, and it's the horseshoe shape that's at the top left. And you'll see me put them together, and you see I know exactly where that one piece, that cutout piece is. So I'm going to pick that piece right there, like I said, and figure out where that is in the stencil, place that onto there. That's the way I found it to work the easiest. Now, you can always butt it up against the corner and just use that, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to use the middle because, again, I wanted to show you that there's more ways than just butting it up against the corner to use these stencils. And after I realized that I could do that, is put the layers on top of each other and then, pick one of the shapes and put it down, hopefully that makes sense. It was super easy to realize how the layers were. Now, these don't have to be lined up perfectly, and you'll see mine were not lined up perfectly, but it still comes out with a great design, and I still think it looks good, even though it wasn't lined up exactly perfectly the way it should be. So now I'm using Distress Oxide in Black Soot, and I'm going over it a couple times. If you noticed, I was pretty good about not shaking the camera with the purple. With this, Black Soot sometimes to me comes across as gray, like a darker gray, and I didn't want it to be gray. I wanted it to be that real dark black. When you think of leopard, you think of that dark black. So I did go over it a couple times, and I'm also impatient. If you've seen any of my videos, you know this. I'm impatient and I'm heavy-handed with the ink blending. So I did go a little bit more aggressively on this layer than I did with the purple layer, but the purple went on a lot smoother, and I just felt like the Black Soot wasn't coming out as deep as I wanted it to. So, and I was getting impatient with adding layers. So again, I want to see the end result really, really quickly. So there it is. When you peel the masks off, one of my favorite things to see what was underneath, and that's what it looked like. And now I'm going around the outside of the edges of the card with the remaining Black Soot that was on my brush. I don't dip it into the ink pad again. Just wanted to give the edges a little bit of like a little shadow or shading. So now I'm taking a strip of black cardstock, and I'm using my light kaolin clay mask and my makeup brush to cover that entire piece, because we are going to stamp the sentiment out and emboss it. Now, full disclosure, this was about the third time I did it. First time I used the Wilted Violet Distress Oxide, that didn't come out. Second time I did it, it wasn't straight. Third time I did it, when you heat emboss something, you need to give it a little bit of time to dry, which I know that sounds weird because you're heating it, but if you put your finger in it, it will take away the embossing powder because it hasn't cooled yet. So maybe that's a better thing. Oh, and there you see Lucy had to jump up on my my desk. She's actually up here. If you can hear the purring in the background throughout the video, that was her. She is loving being up on the desk now that it's cleaned off. So anyway, that was like the third time I had tried to heat emboss it, and I guess the third time was finally the charm, and it came out. So now I am stamping down My Favorite Things. I believe it's called Lovable Leopards. I don't believe this set is available anymore. I've had it in my stash for a couple of years, so they generally retire things after a couple of years. But I wanted to color this cute little leopard in with my V markers because I wanted to make it try to match the background. I did the best that I could to pick out the colors, and when I was done, went over it with some colored pencils, and it turned like a pinkish purple, and I didn't like it at all, so I kept going over it with colored pencils. Again, with the Copic markers, I didn't do anything fancy. It's just kind of coloring, doing a little bit of shading where I felt it was necessary, and then going back and forth. So I used V06, V04, and V15, and just kind of went back and forth through with the colors, adding some shading where I thought possible. And you can see there it gets a little pinky purple, and I didn't really want it to be pinky purple. It was not the exact color that I wanted it to be when it came out, but I went with it because I thought it was cute. That was cute. So I like the way that it turned out in the end. I don't think the picture photographed it as well as it possibly could have, but I think the little leopard was cute. So I'm going to finish coloring the leopard in, and then I am actually going to fussy cut it out. So this one was a little bit tricky for me because when I fussy cut, I don't normally like to leave, see how the whiskers are coming off the face? That, for me, I generally think it looks weird, so I cut around the whiskers and then I cut in between them so they're very, very thin. And this is why I usually let my brother scan and cut do it, because I hate doing that kind of stuff. Regular fussy cutting doesn't bother me, but when there's things, really, really small pieces like that are hanging off there, I don't like to do it. So now I added a little, I believe it was R81 to the ears, and then some R20 to the cheeks. And I'm taking my white gel pen and adding 3 little dots by the cheeks and dots in the eyes, and then adding some eyelashes to the leopard. And I don't know about you guys, but every time I add eyelashes, one eye looks so good, and then the other eye, I don't know what I do with it. It never looks as good as the other one. But that's also how I apply mascara. So one eye always looks good and the other one just kind of looks, which is why I never wear makeup. So I guess it goes hand in hand. So back to the card, I took my ATG and put it all over the background for the card, or the card front, put that down to the card base, and then I am now attaching that It's Your Birthday, Go Wild sentiment from the MFT. That's from another MFT stamp set. It was a giraffe stamp set, and it was all sentiments. And I thought this was perfect because the theme was birthday, and I also wanted to use leopard. So I incorporated everything, kind of tied it in together by the sentiment and the colors. And you can see there the leopard is a little bit more pink than purple. I do go back in after I realize this and add a little bit more of purple colored pencil to it, and in the end it does look a little bit more purple than the pink. I'm also going back in with a brush marker, and that marker is from Spectrum Noir. It's an art liner, and I'm going back in and darkening up some of the spots because when I went over them with the colored pencils, I didn't really take care when I went over with the colored pencils, and even with the Copic markers, it dulls them a little bit. So I wanted to make them stand out, and you can see the difference between the ones that I've done and the ones that I haven't done. They are definitely darker once I've done them. So I just go over all of the dots, and the card is now finished. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to enter the Color for Life design contest, I will leave the information linked below. Have a great day, and I will see you again real soon for another video. Bye!